had to fight to go back to school earlier than planned. My father wanted me to take the whole next year off of school, but by the end of the first semester I was going stir crazy, so I forced them to let me go back to school. Once you've already tasted independence and you've already been living far away from home on your own, you can't really go back to living under your parents' roof with them watching you all the time. I had also been rather independent growing up. Like, I used to travel all the time. Every year since I was 16, I would go to Europe and spend like my summers there. So I was doing that on my own, staying with friends there. I think that that just demonstrates that I was already quite independent before all this happened. So I really, really, really needed to go back to school. I encouraged my doctor at the University of Chicago to tell my father that it was a good idea to let me go back to school. And according to a neuropsychologist that I know down at U of I, she said that at the time that was exactly what I needed. Perhaps it was not the best idea for my physical condition, because that first year is critical for making like the fastest and the most gains. But if you don't have a happy state of mind where you're at peace with where you are, then you can't enjoy life at all. So it was really what my soul needed for me to go back to what I knew. You know, I found myself getting envious of my friends who were complaining about having tests to study for or having homework assignments. And I was like, I would do anything to have a homework assignment right now or to take a test right now. You know, it was what I knew because I'd grown up doing that. I guess you don't appreciate what you have till you lose it, right? And it wasn't like I could just wave a wand and get everything back all of a sudden. But I was like, there's nothing wrong with my thinking or anything. I can still go to school, I can still learn, I can still read, I can still write. I had to fight to go back. I'm gonna be frank here. When you acquire a disability, any kind of disability, that would affect the way that other people have to treat you. So whatever it is, you know, when you acquire that, so you're basically becoming someone else almost. There's sort of a sense of like becoming inconvenient for other people, and it's not something that, obviously it's not something you can control or something that you can just not be. Obviously any kind of disability is something that you just have, and it's not something that you can just remove at will. There are going to be some people who just have never been exposed to that before. Obviously they've never been exposed to that with you, and then all of a sudden the nature of your relationship with them changes, because all of a sudden they have to slow down for you, or say, you know, if you have a visual impairment, perhaps they have to start reading something for you. Or, you know, because I used to actually, ironically enough, I used to actually work for the Department of Rehabilitation and Educational Services at U of I. So I was a reader and a writer for people who mostly had visual impairments and needed me to read and write things for them, or you know, otherwise had maybe motor impairments and they couldn't write, so I needed to help them take tests and things like that and do assignments. So I've been exposed to people with varying disabilities, not all just mobility like me, but I just feel like a relationship with somebody else when you have a disability is a little different from a relationship with someone when you don't. Because when you don't, that person doesn't really have to adapt to anything that you're struggling with. I mean, perhaps emotionally and personality, things like that, but when it comes to having a disability, you're going to encounter that some of the people that you were already friends with or close to that you already knew, they may not have that type of exposure in their life previously, so they either may not be compassionate enough to deal with you anymore, or they may not be patient enough. I mean, on the other hand, there are some people who really, in an experience like this, really blossom and show you that they're really beautiful people, because they all of a sudden are like there for you all the time and are amazing. But there are also those who, without even meaning to, and it's not like ill will or anything, they don't know. So because they don't know, you as a result kind of end up having to lose a few friends here and there, just simply because it's just, your relationship changes with them, and expectations are different, and you also may struggle with your own issues where you're like frustrated and angry with them for not understanding you, but at the same time they could be upset with you because you didn't communicate with them what you needed, and like